Visual Studio and create a new project, a Windows project, Windows application. I'm gonna name my application Attendance System. I'm gonna resize my form just a little. I'm going to rename the form. Let's name it Copy Attendance Form. I'm going to put a button on the form. That says copy. I'm going to change the font a little, get a little interesting. I'm going to use Mistral, size 28. That looks fine for now. I want to jump to the code. The first thing you would want to do is import the system.io library. Next thing you want to do is bring the flat file that you will want to read from. Here's the file. I'm going to show you how the file works. It's a distinct ID for each employee, the time period, the payment period, the time in, the time out, and a little more detail. I'm going to copy that to my new project. I'm going to keep that here. Remember, the text file name is textfile.txt. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to dim file name as string. I'm going to point out where the file name is. It's at application.startup path plus, that's the text file name. So what I did here, I pointed where the exe will be launched, and it's gonna see next to the exe the txt file with the following name that we gave to the txt. The first thing that you want to do is check if the file exists. If file.exists, and I'm going to give the file the full path, file name, then do the following procedures. Else, you need to message box the file name and say does not exist. That's kind of easy till now. So if the file exists, what are we gonna do? We're gonna dim an instance of the file as new stream reader for the file name, and we're gonna dim a line. So as you've seen, the file is essentially made of many lines. So now we're gonna declare a variable for each line, and then we're gonna see how we're gonna chop this out for many smaller parts. So dim IO line, let's say IO line as string. Okay, the first thing we need to do is give a value to IO line. So we're gonna do read line. We're gonna read the first line, and then we're gonna go for a loop. We're gonna check for how we're gonna know that the file is done. We're gonna check if there's no more lines, while IO line does not equal to empty. Now we're gonna declare a variable called mySplit. This is a split for the lines, and the split will look essentially for the semicolon. This is how this is gonna work. I'm gonna go to the file and check for the first line. After taking the first line, it's gonna check for the first semicolon. Then it's gonna chop off the first part, and it's gonna go to the second part, then to the third part. This is how this is gonna work. So after chopping off, we would want to put each chopped up part in a variable. So we're gonna declare variables here for this certain necessity. Dim. The first thing is the employee ID. We're gonna name it empid. Then we're gonna go for something like period. Then the time in. Then the timeout. And then the detail. That's about it. Now we're gonna fill those. empid equal mySplit 0, because mySplit is a one-dimensional array, as we're gonna see here. Function split. This is a one-dimensional array, as you can see in the last line. One-dimensional array containing a specified number of strings. The second variable, which is period, is going to hold the second mySplit in the array. The time in is going to hold the third, because we started from 0, so we have to jump one at a time. 3, and the detail. Okay, so we got our variables. In position. We can do a little something right here. We can message box. We're gonna stop for here and message box empid plus period plus time in plus timeout plus the detail. We're going to try to run our program and see what happens. That's the first line, second line. So now we're going in an infinite loop because we're not jumping to a second line. I'm gonna have to break this. As you can see, we need to do an iteration right here. IO line equal IO file the read line. That's gonna make us jump from the first line to the second line, because if we don't add that line, this line of code, nothing's gonna happen. It's gonna stay on the first line. It's gonna keep iterating until infinity. E10, E22, E88, E20, E30. That's about it. That's very good. So I'm gonna comment this out, and I'm going to make this a little more interesting. I'm going to add a list view so we can see what's happening instead of the column 1 is the employee ID. Column 2 is the period. Column 3 is the time in. Column 4 is the timeout. Column 5 is the detail. Going to fix this a little bit. Time in a little bit. Okay. So this is what I'm gonna do next. I'm going to dim LV cell as list view item. I'm just declaring a variable of a list view item for my list view 1. The items dot add. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add employee. Then I'm going to add LV cell. The sub items dot add. Then I'm going to add period. This is essentially a repetition, so I'll copy that. Time in, time out, detail. So our list view is filled. Get this line to over here. Going to run the project again to show you how the list view will be filled. That's about it. Now we're gonna do the thing. We're gonna take these values and insert them back to the database. I already selected the path, and I'm gonna make the DB name attend_DB. I'm going to create that. Now I'm going to save the DB. I'm going to name it attend. ID auto number, employee ID. I'm just going to make those as text, and 35 because I don't want to go through casting and stuff like that. I don't want to confuse this. Basic tutorial, period, time in, time out, and detail. Well, that's good for now. Okay. I'm going to create my query now. Then underscore CNN, that's connection at. I'm going to copy that. I already have it saved here in a text file. Then underscore CMD as the EDB command. So now we got a connection, we got a command. I'm going to add a new string for the insert statement. str equals insert into attend and underscore ID period time in time out detail values and by the this is a string, so you need to add a quotation. Sorry about that. Period these gets a little confusing, but you know, period time in. Gotta get used to it. Time out. And detail. So now give the parameter back to the command text equal str and point out the connection equal underscore CNN. Okay, now underscore CNN dot append underscore CMD dot execute non-query underscore CNN dot close. So on each iteration we're gonna give the str command the value of the insert statement, then it's gonna execute it. and put it onto the database. I can make a try-catch statement right here, but I'm not going to do that. In case you make any errors, it's going to point it out to you. Of course, you need to add a IO file, the close right here, and let's run this. I think this looks fine. Oops, I forgot to move the database to my startup folder. No, I'm gonna run this again. I'll press copy and success. So, one more thing that can make the program look a little more interesting is a progress bar. I want to add later on a special tutorial about progress bars and small tricks about them, but I think I'll add one right now. 500 for those who know how progress bar works. So, and I need a timer. So I'm gonna start the timer here. And I'm going to make it at each tick wow. Progress bar, check if the progress bar 1 value is less than 100. Increment the progress bar value by, let's say, 10, and after that just stop the timer. Should look nice. We're going to do that. I'm going to jump back to the database and show you that the records are for real. Added to the DB. So now we're at record number 25. Going to run this again. Record number 35 because I run this twice. You know, I'll run it one more time. We're on record 40. It's a beautiful program. I'm going to put the download links on the sidebar, and I hope you can benefit from it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and remember to subscribe to the channel, and thank you.